We're going to talk a bit of Liverpool with our next guest. He's the former CEO of the club. They enjoyed a very, very successful period between 2017 2020 when he was at the club. He's now involved in a team in the States. He'll tell us more about that as well. Peter Moore joins us, former Liverpool CEO. Hi, Peter.
Afternoon.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Charlie. How are you?
Very
well,
good,
thanks,
thank
Peter.
you. We'll come on to your involvement with Santa Barbara a bit later on, but we'll talk Liverpool now. It is a season of transition. It's going to be a very, very strange season for them, sort of post the Jurgen Klopp era.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a challenging year, but it's a year of transition, and everybody I speak with back in my friends, particularly in the Netherlands, that have been following Slot and his journey with Feyenoord are impressed. Look, you're never going to replace Jurgen Klopp. There's no two ways about that. Not only his prowess with the men on the field, but also with the city and the fans on a worldwide basis. He got Liverpool, and I think famously the Shankly quote of "Liverpool was made for me and I was made for Liverpool" applies to Jurgen, and it was an honor and a privilege to work alongside him for 3.5 years during my time at Liverpool. But yeah, it's going to be a tough year, but I'm optimistic that the new organization in place has made the right selections, not only Slot, but the backroom staff that is so important in supporting him, and we shall see how the players react to his style, from which I, having watched a few games, is that kind of gegenpress, let's run the other team off the ground type style that Jurgen employed for so successfully for 9 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, from a distance, it looks like he is cut from very similar cloth, Arne Slot, and they've obviously felt that they want someone who kind of shares that kind of personality and to want to make that connection to the area, and that's sort of fed into the appointment, I guess.
Yeah, look, you've got a different structure at Liverpool when I was there now. Michael Edwards, the previous sporting director who worked alongside me when I was there, is now CEO of football. My successor, Billy Hogan, is focused on, as I was, on the business of football. Richard Hughes obviously has come in support of Michael as the sporting director. It's a very different structure, a very, if I may say it, Americanized structure that has a general manager type feel to it, which is what Michael has adopted in his role. And the one thing I do know is that they've been meticulous in their diligence, and you're not going to bring somebody in like Slot if you don't have 100% belief that he can hit the ground running, not only with, hundreds of millions of Liverpool fans around the world and get them on his side, but also with a squad, a £1 billion squad of players ready to go, not only the first teamers, but these young players that Jurgen, as his legacy, has brought through from the academy, who I'm sure are all going to be knocking on the door next season.
Yeah, the Liverpool fans, they like to give a manager time, don't they? They back their man, they go along with him, but they've become used to success. How much time do you think they'll give him, Peter?
You know, look, we in Liverpool, and I'm in Liverpool right now, we in Liverpool believe in our managers even more than we believe in our players. If you look at the Kop, those banners, you go Shankly, Paisley, Dalglish, Gerard Houllier, and we adore our managers as long as they get us, as long as they understand what is expected of them within the club, forever memorialized. This is not some other Premier League clubs that will give a manager 6 months, and if he's not getting it done, kick him out. That's not the way Liverpool has been. You've still got the boot room ethic, which is support the manager in every way, every person from the fella who cleans the toilets at Anfield all the way up to the centre forward who scores goals are in support of the manager. And that's the Liverpool way that I was inserted into, and certainly as, my first game at Liverpool was 1959, that I, pre-Shankly era, and that's the way Liverpool operates. And he will be given all the time he needs to transition. I think the good news, Charlie, is that he's not, being inserted into a squad that needs a complete overhaul.
Yeah.
And it's something that, like I've worked in corporate America for many decades. You have a succession plan for, your CEO who comes in, but you've got a C-suite of your top executives and your staff. And as long as the culture's right, the focus is right, you all know which direction you're pulling, which is what the case is at Liverpool, then it makes that new guy's job that heck of a lot easier.
I was going to ask you about that. You've worked for lots of different sort of top-level blue-chip companies, Electronic Arts, Sega, Microsoft, Reebok, etc. But when you're at Liverpool, club you supported, you were born in Liverpool before you went to the States. You've got skin in the game. It's an emotional attachment. But you have to make hard business decisions. I mean, is it quite hard to divorce? I mean, it's probably a lot easier to do that at EA than it is at Liverpool.
You're exactly right. And this is the conversation that I had when I was at EA and was being offered the job at Liverpool and returning back to the UK from being gone for 40 years. Never been involved in football directly in my life, although, at EA we pretty much dictated the world of football through the game called FIFA, and at Reebok I was head of worldwide football. But this was a conversation I had, and sometimes, to be blunt, Paul, I slipped up. My fandom showed at times through over-exuberance on social media when certain teams would lose. And from the perspective of making hard decisions, though, I was very clear that sometimes you have to make a decision in support of your ownership group, the football club, and maybe not in support of the supporters. And those were the difficult ones to make. And we, like any CEO in the Premier League, it's not all rainbows, unicorns, and sprinkles all the way along. And there is many hard decisions that need to be made, and particularly during COVID, whether it's furloughs and prior to that trademark issues and whatever, you have to do what's right for the club, and sometimes your objectives aren't aligned to the supporters. And I had many a run-in during my few years there, that's for sure.
You will notice at the moment that it's not a completely happy ship, the Premier League. We have this issue with Manchester City questioning the structure of the sponsorship deals, feeling there should be a bit more flexibility from their point of view and other clubs' point of view around the way they fund sponsorship deals and where the money comes from. Do you have some sympathy for that, Peter, or do you feel that the Premier League need to stand firm? What would you be doing if you were going to those meetings?
I'm a bit worried for the state of football, bluntly. I think we're at an inflection point where we need to understand what kind of league in the Premier League, and my comments are specifically the Premier League that we want. We all grew up with teams that could come from nowhere and get it right that year. We're not that too many years removed from Leicester City winning the Premier League. It shouldn't be that the money is unbridled. It shouldn't be that the big market teams with large ownerships are the ones that are going to win the league every year. That's not what any of us want as football fans. Having lived in America and been involved deeply with American sports in the companies that you referenced that I work for, Americans faced this many years ago with billionaire owners. Pretty much every NFL owner is a billionaire, but they understood parity and the competitive nature of what the league needs to be, so that there couldn't be clubs that simply dominate, whether it's salary caps, luxury taxes, the draft system. They put structures in place that almost guarantee parity, and that, as they say in the NFL, on any given Sunday, one team could beat another. I do worry. And look, I'm speaking as a football fan, nothing to do with Liverpool Football Club. The Premier League needs to get this right. We need to have 20 teams that are capable of being competitive every single weekend. And otherwise, we will lose the global reach that we currently have as the most watched sports league in the world. And the money will start to dry up. And the opposite will happen if the same teams win because they have the most money. So, I was very involved in trying to build Liverpool's commercial platform alongside Billy Hogan, who was Chief Commercial Officer, now my successor as CEO. And we were in the marketplace, and we were sometimes confused as to what certain clubs were getting for certain sponsorship segments in relation to what we could accrue as bluntly one of the biggest clubs in the world. So the Premier League and my good friend Richard Masters, the CEO there, I think are very understanding of what needs to happen here. And I hope for the good of football and football fans, not only here in England, but around the world, that we have a league that has parity and competitiveness. And those of us who live in California, get up at 4 a.m. I want to see Brentford have a chance against Liverpool or Chelsea or Manchester United. I just don't want to see, as you often see elsewhere, just 2 or 3 clubs are going to dominate for decades.
No, absolutely. And finally, Santa Barbara FC, Sky FC, should I say, you're setting that up. Should be up and running by 2025. Could be good timing for Mo Salah.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for maybe a couple of seasons in California.
Sure. Well, I'm going to get my Jurgen Klopp deal finalised before I can go after.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, no, when my wife and I moved back after Liverpool arrived in Santa Barbara, and the USL, which is the kind of in the American pyramid, you've got MLS, which you're very familiar with. The USL sits underneath and asked me to get involved. having come back from Liverpool during the back end of COVID. And I said, sure. The next thing I know, I'm doing shirt designs and building the club from scratch, which is fascinating. But it's a beautiful place. I don't know if you've ever been to the central coast of California. And USL's building out its West Coast presence. And we'll start play in March of 2025 in Santa Barbara itself, and build a community-focused football club, massive diverse community in Santa Barbara that deserves professional sports. Never had in 30-odd years a professional sports team there. So I'm proud to be the founding owner and put my money where my mouth is. I think it's going to be great for the community, and it's just brilliant what's happening with the game right now. Having lived there and been involved in the game for 40 years, the last 5, maybe 10 years, the game has exploded, and so happy to see that.
Excellent. Good,
fantastic.
Good talking to you, Peter. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Peter.
Cheers, lads. Take care.
There we are. Peter Moore there, the former Liverpool CEO.
Yeah.
Paul Hawksby and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.